Hey everyone. We don't necessarily have an order for who's presenting first for special populations. I wanted to check in to see if any of the other presenters want to go. If not, I am more than happy to kick us off.
Haley, why don't you go first and I'll go second?
Okay, and I'll go.
Okay. All right, that works for me. I guess I'll go ahead and share my screen and then give people maybe one more minute to join if they need to. Okay. It looks like we're pretty steady on people hopping into the Zoom room, so I will go ahead and kick us off. Just to check in, everyone can see my screen and hear me okay, right? Okay. Wonderful. Well, hello, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Haley Tucker, and I am the Assistant Director of Transfer Student Initiatives. So I run most of our university-wide transfer programs. I know we have a short amount of time together today, and several presenters, as well as having time for questions at the end. So this will be a very short overview of our transfer programs, but if people would like to connect later on to learn more about these programs or talk more in depth, I'm happy to share my email at the end. So to kick us off, I really wanted to talk about the purpose of the Hokie transfer community. So we've noticed that transfer students really want to be recognized as students who are new to Virginia Tech, but it's not their first time being in college. So they're very different from first time in college students, and so we really want to treat them as such, recognizing that they have college experience, but still need support and guidance as they transition into a new university. So our goal with the Hokie transfer community is to recognize students for their unique identity, help them feel at home, and then make connections on campus. To do that, we have several different programs and initiatives. So to kick us off, we have the Transfer Peer Mentor program, which pairs an incoming transfer student with a current VT transfer student for the first 6 weeks of the semester to provide guidance and mentorship during that time. This program is completely free to students. They'll be paired with their mentor before they enter Virginia Tech. And then we have weekly events as well to help them build that community while they adjust to being a Hokie. Next, we have a first-year experience course specifically for transfer students called University 2114 Unleash Your Hokie Potential. So while transfer students are pretty familiar with the College 101 basics, they know what a syllabus is, they have typically been in a college classroom before, they know what study habits work for them. So we've really tailored this to fit their needs compared to normal first year experience courses. So to give you an example, we focus more on career resources, helping them get ready for internships and future careers. We talk about VT offices or resources that would be really beneficial to transfer students. We discuss living off of campus in the future or currently, if that's where they're situated at the time, things that would be a little bit more specific for them. Next, we have the Transfer Experience Living Learning Community, which is transfer students' best option for living on campus. So if you know of any transfer students who do want that traditional dorm life experience their first year at Virginia Tech, this is a really good fit for them and they'd be living with other transfer students. If you know any students interested in that opportunity, once they've paid their matriculation fee, they can apply on StarRes. Applications are currently open and will remain open through June 5th, and I review those every week on a rolling basis if students are interested in that opportunity. And then last but not least, we have National Transfer Student Week, which is always the third week in October. This year it falls on October 19th through the 23rd, and it's a whole week just to celebrate transfer students and their unique identity on our campus. So we have several events for them that week. We give out a lot of Hokie Transfer community swag. We spotlight them on our socials and then ask other departments and colleges to do the same so they really feel like they belong and have a place here on Virginia Tech's campus. All right. On that note, I think it's probably easiest if we save questions till the end after everyone has presented. So I will hand it over. If you all have questions, I'm happy to answer that after the other presenters have gone.
Nice. Thank you so much, Haley. I'm going to take a second and share my screen. Can you all see this okay? Great. Okay, I see some head nods. Great. Okay. So my name is Susie Young. I am the Assistant Director of International Student Experience at the Cranwell International Center. I'm going to talk a little bit today about international student orientation. The first thing I'm going to talk about, if your university has international students, you are federally mandated to offer a separate international student orientation. It is part of the stipulations of having international students. So we try and create an international orientation that does not compete with other orientations, and we try and make it accessible as possible. So we actually operate about 2 to 3 days before week of welcome or domestic student move-in. So just know that we're operating on a little bit of a timeline that's earlier. And I just want to be really clear about who we're talking about when we're talking about international, because that term can get complicated really fast. So for the most part, we are talking about students who are here on either an F or a J educational visa that are coming to the United States to Virginia Tech in a degree seeking program. And the reason I have to make this delineation is because there is an entire alphabet soup of visas out there. And sometimes international student orientation is right for one person and not right for another. So if students do not fall under an F or a J category, we actually leave that up to the student to figure out what is the most helpful for them. So for an example, an H4 is a most common visa type that gets caught up in this gray area. It means that they are a dependent of someone who is here on an H1B, like a work visa. And that student may have been in the United States their entire life and has only ever known the United States and will probably not benefit from an international student orientation. However, I just got an email the other day. There's an incoming student. She got her permanent residency 2 weeks ago. And she reached out to us and said, can I come to international orientation? I want to meet other people from other countries that are in a similar situation to me. I also am brand new to the United States. So this is actually somebody who is not qualifies as an international student that would really benefit from our programs and services, and they are welcome to come. So my advice is if you're encountering an international student in whatever your department or work requires and someone has a question about orientation, feel free to email our office, international@vt.edu, and we'll work with the student to figure out if orientation is the right fit for them as an incoming student. So just heads up on that. Sometimes students come from international families. We get a lot of children of first generation or families of immigrant status, or refugee status. Again, we'll work with the student. Just so you know how Virginia Tech as an institution or how admissions defines international is anyone who is not a United States citizen will get delineated into an international category. And as I've just identified, sometimes students that doesn't jive with them. And we will take whoever identifies as international on the program side of what we do. Just so you know, Cranwell has two sides to how we function. One is an immigration advising side that are populated by what's called the ISS team, or designated school officials, DSOs. They work specifically for immigration advising, and then we have a programming side, and this is where our orientation comes in. Immigration only works with F and Js. Programming works with anybody. Anyone who says they're international, we can put them into our program side, and we'll try and find the right resources for them. We are in our pre-arrival season. It usually starts around January, February, where we start putting people in a Canvas course and start doing pre-arrival webinars. These are some of the topics that we cover: securing your F or J1 visa, off-campus housing, on-campus housing, transportation. Surprisingly hard to get to Blacksburg if you're unfamiliar with the public transportation in the US. Student medical insurance and immunizations also can be really tricky for international students. The United States healthcare system proves to be quite a challenge for understanding for a lot of folks, especially if they come from countries with universal healthcare. Campus Life, which is an introduction to our student orgs and how to get involved in Gobbler Fest, things like that. It's Your Career. We invite career and professional development to start getting students started to thinking about their career before they even get here. I think it's in the engineering program that they start doing career fairs week one of being here. So we want our students to come in ready to go, thinking about their career. We also do an orientation prep session and a student panel Q&A. When we have those webinars, they are recorded and then they live in our pre-arrival Canvas course, which is an information hub for all information pre-arrival. So if you encounter a student, an international student who really is having trouble getting information about what to do, reach our office. We're going to get them in touch with the Canvas course. And these are just some of the topics we cover in our Canvas course. It acts as a resource library for them. And then this is what our international student orientation looks like. So we go from Sunday, August 16th. Move-in is the 16th and 17th, which if you'll remember Sam and Gabby's timelines, it's a little bit earlier than domestic students. They move in over the course of 2 days. We have a welcome tent on Harper Lawn where we partner with Housing and Hokie Passport. We have 2 welcome dinners to invite them in where they can meet and greet each other. We have 2 days of orientation programming, 3 if you count graduate students. And then we have resource fairs, campus tours. We put them in vans and take them to Christiansburg so they can buy things like bedding, which most students don't come with. Clothing that is specific to the weather. Some students may come from really cold countries and are experiencing this kind of heat, or they also might come from really warm countries and they're really worried about winter. So we do take them shopping. And then we also do immunization appointments, which we schedule. We partner with Shifford Health pretty extensively to get them their immunizations that they can't get in their home countries here at Shifford Health. And then we have a global dance party where we have around between 600 and 700 students every year that come. It goes till the wee hours of the morning. It's very fun. Our students have a great time. And that is usually the Tuesday of orientation. And I am going to stop there. Just like Haley, I'm going to wait till questions at the end and we'll turn it over to the next speaker. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, my name's Rua Marriger, and I am the recruiting officer for the Virginia Tech Corps of Cadets. And so next up, we're talking about first year cadets. They move in on August 14th on a Friday. We do it all. We are expecting maybe, right now we have about 528 students coming in for the Corps. We'll move them in 4 hours. We have half-hour blocks that they sign up with us for. So they're not, they hopefully aren't going with whatever the university has told them to come with, because that tells them all to arrive at the same time. So they sign up with us for half-hour arrivals between 7:30 and 11, and then we get started. We have some family programming while we pull the students off to start their programming, and then we end on that Friday with a formation. And then after that, the families are able to leave. And then the students continue in what we are calling now Forge Week, which will be those 10 days before classes start. It'll end, it ends on Saturday, the 22nd, when we have a parade. So at 10 a.m., you're all welcome to come. The freshmen kind of show off everything they've learned in that first week, which is usually pretty amazing. I'm always amazed every year at how much they learn. And we'll be hosting that parade on the drill field at 10 a.m. on that Saturday. Their families are welcome to come back. They can then depart with their families until 6. Well, I apologize. They can depart with their families from after the parade on Saturday until 1:30 on Sunday, because the cadets take part in the Hokie Spirit Rally over at the stadium to get the picture taken. So, and the free picnic, of course. The cadets come in. A lot of folks don't realize that the Corps involves some credit hours. They do take a core class in lab. That lab always meets on Thursdays from 3:30 to 4:45. It's when we do things that we need the entire regiment for. And so we have a lot of speakers. We might do a parade, a lot of different items, but that is a 2 credit class. And then they are also taking a track class. There are 4 tracks, Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Citizen Leader track. The Citizen Leader track class is 2 credits. Looks like I accidentally deleted it. Sorry about that. And then Army is 2 credits, Navy is 4 credits, and Air Force is 3 credits. So they are taking anywhere from six, well, basically 4 to 6 credits for being in the Corps and being in ROTC at the same time. But they don't have to be in ROTC. We have about 25% of our program is in the Citizen Leader track. They are not planning on commissioning after graduation necessarily. They are participating in our program as an LLC for leadership. So these are our main ones. Just out of curiosity, I know a lot of folks are kind of curious of what a cadet's life looks like. Once we get through that first week, which is all military all the time, the cadets are being it's a leadership opportunity for our juniors and seniors to lead our freshmen. And so they will be doing Forge Week, which is pretty much all military all the time. They're doing the rappel tower, the obstacle course. There's a lot of the Hokie bird's going to come out hopefully and surprise them on one of the days. And then they do a lot of drill, and they're doing a lot of classes on our honor code and the alcohol policy, for example. All the different policies the university has will cover during that week as well. But once school starts, this is a little bit more what a student experiences. They have physical fitness training. Not everybody's getting up at 5:30 for physical fitness training. Navy and Air Force, they actually don't have physical fitness training until an 8 o'clock class, which will either be a Monday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday. The Army and the Citizen Leader Track, though, they do physical fitness training at 5:30 in the morning. And then they come down. We have morning formation. You're always welcome to come. That's at 7:25. And then they have about 10 hours. That's their time to be professional students. They're going to class. They'll always be in uniform anytime they go to class. The upper class are allowed to change into civilian clothes if they don't have any classes after 2 on a Friday. But freshmen will be in uniform pretty much all the time here at the beginning. And then they'll have their labs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So they'll all have a track lab on Tuesday from 3:30 to 4:45 and a core lab on Thursday from 3:30 to 4:45. They do have meals in here. We don't have any specific go as a group. As you know, the dining halls are pretty busy around here. And so we don't have the core go as a whole to any meals. So they do go as groups frequently to eat with their friends, but there's no go as a group, as a whole core to go eat. And then we have 4 hours of mandatory study in the evenings from 7 to 11. It drops to 7 to 10 or 7 to 9, excuse me, for the sophomores. And juniors and seniors don't have mandatory study hours, but those are mandatory quiet hours in our residence halls. On Fridays, they'll have pass. Now, pass means that they can go anywhere they want within 50 miles of campus. However, what we frequently do is give them Unity Pass. They have to go with their 29 buds or fellow freshmen on their hallway. It's a lot about safety. It's also about learning to navigate the bus system. And it's also about leadership, learning how to be a follower, learning how to lead when no one has any power is really the essence of what it means to be a leader. And they're learning to be, in order to be a leader, they have to learn how to follow. So we're doing a lot of that kind of training with this pass here. And of course, they attend all home football games, which that is a special privilege of the freshmen to be down on the field. So the band is always on the field. Not the the Marching Virginians and the Heidi Tidies kind of swap, but when the Heidi Tidies are on the field, it's the Heidi Tidy band and the freshmen. So it's kind of a freshman privilege. And then Sunday is their day until we get started with study hours at 6 o'clock. So I will also stand by for any questions that you have. And thank you.
Hi, y'all. My name's Les Myers. I'm the director of the Student Athlete Academic Support Services Office. I will just share that our group is not one size fits all. We'll have some students that show up for summer session 1, some that show up for summer session 2, and some that come for the fall. So be aware if you encounter student athletes new that are coming in, they could be a transfer, they could be a new freshman, they could be international, they could be domestic. Some of them are already here. Some of them have already moved into their housing early. Um, we have some programming they'll go through in our office. We have a summer bridge program that focuses on some of the transitional skills that we think are important for our student athletes as they come in. We'll have 4 sessions in July on Tuesdays at 11 for our student athlete population to help acclimate them to Blacksburg, to Virginia Tech, and to what it means to be a student athlete here. And then the other thing I would throw out there is just be aware that with our student athlete population, some of those fall sports will start competing before the fall semester even starts. So your soccer's, cross countries, football will be in their summer training camp leading up to a game very quickly in the fall semester. So just be aware that there could be some of our student athletes that would be potentially moving on to competition before we even get to the first day of class there in August. So that is the quick nuts and bolts about us. Again, I'll be here in case anybody has any questions as well.
We'll take any like rapid fire questions since we're about 2 minutes over time. And then to our presenters, if you just want to share your email in the chat, so that way, if anybody wants to reach out after this with any questions, or if they feel like their question isn't necessarily like a rapid fire question and maybe a little bit lengthier, they can email you with that. So we'll have our presenters send their emails in the chat. And then we will also send a follow-up email with all of the recorded presentations. So also don't feel like you had to remember everything that we went over today via email, and we'll also send out an evaluation survey as well after this. So we'll hang back if anybody does have any last minute questions, but feel free to reach out to our presenters. And if you feel like you are good to go and have no questions, feel free to go ahead and hop off. Thank you guys so much for coming to welcome warm up. I don't think we have any more last minute questions. It's hard because you guys all have such good information and it's like, whoo, rapid fire. So good job. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Bye,
day.
everyone.